In the heart of a bustling city lived a couple whose life together was as intricate as it was unusual. Sarah, 50, a woman of keen intellect and gentle demeanor, found her heart entwined with Michael, 67, a man whose life was a tapestry of Catholic upbringing and remarkable success. Their union, a blend of love and unspoken complexities, had flourished over 11 years, solidified by 7 years of marriage. Their home, a testament to Michael's success, buzzed with the trappings of affluence. Yet, within these walls, the echoes of their age difference subtly resonated. Michael, often seen as the epitome of achievement, had navigated life with a blend of traditional values and a relentless drive for success. His background in a conservative, Catholic family shaped much of his worldview, a contrast to Sarah's more pragmatic and modern approach to life. Their relationship, often viewed with curiosity by friends and family, was a puzzle they had pieced together with care. The beginning was like a story from a romantic novel, Michael, the accomplished businessman, meeting Sarah, the vibrant and intelligent woman, at a charity event. The connection was instant, a spark that swiftly kindled into a flame. Despite the murmurs about their age gap, they found in each other a companionship that many longed for. However, beneath the surface of their seemingly perfect life, there were undercurrents that even Sarah couldn't fully grasp. Michael, often reserved, held parts of himself like secrets tucked away in a vault. His phone, always a bit too guarded, became an object of intrigue. Sarah, trusting and respectful of privacy, had never pried. Their life, to her, was an open book, but she couldn't shake the feeling that some pages were still unturned. As years passed, their life together settled into a comfortable rhythm. Sarah's days were filled with her work in graphic design, a passion that gave her life a splash of color and creativity. Michael, semi-retired, spent his days in a mix of leisure and managing his investments, a routine that suited his age and status. Their evenings were typically spent in quiet companionship, a stark contrast to their social outings, where they often shone as a couple. Dinners, theater visits, and social gatherings, they navigated these with an ease that made them appear like any other loving couple. Yet, as with any story, the surface often belies the depths beneath. And it was in the summer of 2017 that the first ripple appeared, a harbinger of the storm that was slowly brewing in the horizon of their life together. It was a discovery that would start to unravel the threads of trust and understanding they had woven so carefully over the years. The summer of 2017 brought with it an air of change, subtle yet palpable in the life of Sarah and Michael. The days were longer, the city vibrant with the energy of the season. Amidst this backdrop, an incident unfolded that would mark the beginning of a profound shift in their marriage. It was a regular evening, with the city's lights casting a warm glow through their windows. Sarah, after a long day of creative endeavors, was unwinding in the living room. Michael, as was his habit, was in his study, the faint sound of keyboard clicks filtering through the door. The tranquility of the scene was a stark contrast to the revelation that was about to unfold. Sarah's discovery was accidental, a mere twist of fate. Michael, usually meticulous about his privacy, had left his phone on the kitchen counter. It buzzed with an incoming message, the screen lighting up briefly. What Sarah saw in that fleeting moment was a jolt to her reality. A message, explicit in nature, not meant for her eyes. The sender was unknown, a mystery veiled behind a nondescript name. The message spoke of an encounter, one not just of words but of intimacies that crossed the boundaries of their marriage vows. It mentioned a meeting, a discussion of payment for services that were unmistakably of a sexual nature. The shock that gripped Sarah was visceral, a mix of disbelief and a creeping sense of betrayal. Confronting Michael was not easy. When she did, her voice was a mix of confusion and hurt. Michael's reaction was one of immediate denial, a hastily constructed defense. He brushed off the message as a harmless game, an exchange that meant nothing. "It's just talk," he insisted, his words a feeble attempt to douse the flames of Sarah's growing suspicion. He argued that it was a momentary lapse in judgment, a folly with no real intent or consequence. His assurance was that nothing physical had transpired. "It's not what it looks like," he repeated, his tone a mix of defensiveness and an almost rehearsed calmness. But Sarah's trust, once unshakable, had been disturbed. The incident planted seeds of doubt, watered by the evasiveness of Michael's explanations. The man she thought she knew seemed to be shrouded in a layer of mystery, his actions incongruent with the image she had of her husband. The days that followed were a blend of normalcy and underlying tension. Sarah found herself oscillating between wanting to believe Michael's version and the nagging feeling that there was more to the story. Their conversations about the incident were circular, ending where they began, with Michael's insistence on his innocence and Sarah's unresolved feelings. This episode cast a long shadow over their summer. The once vibrant colors of the season now seemed muted, their life together tinged with a sense of uncertainty. Sarah, in her quest for normalcy, tried to push away the doubts, but they clung to her like a persistent fog. As the leaves began to turn, signaling the end of summer, Sarah and Michael continued their dance of normalcy, each step weighed down by the unspoken. The revelation of that summer night had opened a door, behind which lay questions that begged for answers. Answers that Sarah feared, yet knew she needed to seek, in the hope of finding her way back to the trust and love that once defined their life together. As autumn painted the city in shades of orange and red, the lingering warmth of summer gave way to a cooler embrace. In the home of Sarah and Michael, the change of seasons mirrored a transformation in their relationship, now shadowed by the specter of doubt. Sarah, once buoyed by her innate optimism, found herself adrift in a sea of uncertainty. The image of the explicit message haunted her thoughts, a constant reminder of the hidden facets of Michael's life. She grappled with questions that seemed to have no satisfying answers. Was Michael's explanation to be believed? Was this incident an aberration or a glimpse into a concealed part of his life? Her days were spent in a haze of normalcy, punctuated by moments of introspection. Work, once a haven of creativity and joy, now felt like a mere distraction. Conversations with Michael, typically filled with shared plans and laughter, were now strained, the ease of their interactions replaced by a cautious formality. Michael, for his part, seemed keen to move past the incident. He resumed his routine, his demeanor a blend of forced cheerfulness and a subtle defensiveness. He appeared more guarded, his phone never far from reach, its contents a mystery that Sarah could not unravel. In quiet moments, Sarah found herself observing Michael, searching his expressions for clues, for any sign of the man she thought she knew. The trust that had been the foundation of their relationship was now fractured, each crack a testament to the secrets that lay between them. The strain was not just emotional but also social. Their appearances at gatherings and events, once a source of joy, now felt like performances. Smiles were plastered, conversations rehearsed, their public facade a stark contrast to the private turmoil they were experiencing. Despite the turmoil, Sarah's love for Michael was not easily diminished. It was this love that held her back from confronting the issue further, fearing what she might uncover. Yet, the same love made her yearn for the truth, for the assurance that their marriage was not built on a foundation of lies. As the leaves continued to fall, marking the passage of time, Sarah's internal battle raged on. The decision to seek the truth or to let sleeping dogs lie was a weighty one. On one hand, the truth promised closure, a chance to confront the reality of their situation. On the other, it threatened to unravel the life they had built together, a life she still cherished despite its imperfections. As winter approached, with its promise of renewal and reflection, Sarah knew that a decision had to be made. The path she chose would determine not just the future of their marriage, but the very essence of her own identity and happiness. The answers she sought lay hidden, like gems buried deep beneath layers of time and pretense. To find them, she would need to delve into the unknown, armed with nothing but her courage in the hope that, in the end, love would guide her through the storm. The following summer arrived, bringing with it not only the warmth of the sun but also an unsettling warmth of revelation for Sarah. The incident from the previous year, although not forgotten, had been pushed to the back of her mind in an attempt to preserve the semblance of a normal life. However, the fragile piece of their relationship was about to be shattered once again. It was during one of Michael's solo trips, a routine he had maintained for years, claiming it was his way of unwinding. Sarah, accustomed to these absences, had never questioned them before. But this time, something was different. A nagging intuition prompted her to glance at Michael's phone, left unattended on their bedroom dresser. As she scrolled through the messages, her heart sank. There, amidst the mundane exchanges, was a conversation that mirrored the one from the previous summer. The messages were explicit, arranging a meeting with unmistakable intent. The person on the other end was not just a name on a screen this time but a real person, a male prostitute, according to the conversation's content. The shock was more profound, more personal this time. It wasn't just a random exchange. It was a planned encounter, a deliberate step beyond the boundaries of their marriage. Sarah's mind raced with questions. Had this been going on all along? Was last summer not an isolated incident but a glimpse into a hidden aspect of Michael's life? With a heavy heart, she confronted Michael upon his return. His reaction was a mix of surprise and denial. He claimed it was a misunderstanding, that the person he had messaged was someone he met accidentally. He insisted it was a woman, a chance encounter that had gone no further than a few messages. But the evidence was hard to ignore. The nature of the messages, the explicit details, and the arrangement to meet were too concrete to be dismissed as a mere accident. Sarah's trust, already fragile, was now hanging by a thread. The man she had loved and trusted for over a decade was becoming a stranger before her eyes. Michael's inability to provide a clear explanation only added to her suspicions. His words, meant to reassure, felt hollow and rehearsed. His phone, once a non-issue in their relationship, had become a symbol of secrets and lies. As Sarah grappled with this new reality, her emotions oscillated between anger, sadness, and a deep sense of betrayal. The man she had built her life with, shared her dreams and hopes, now seemed like an enigma, his actions casting a long shadow over their shared past and uncertain future. The summer waned, and with it, the vibrancy of their relationship seemed to dim. The home they had built together, once a haven of love and security, now felt like a stage for a play they were both reluctantly performing. As the leaves began to turn, signaling the end of another summer, the walls of the home Sarah and Michael shared seemed to close in, heavy with unspoken truths and simmering tension. The discovery of Michael's planned encounter had left a chasm in their relationship, one that was becoming increasingly difficult to bridge. Sarah, once the epitome of patience and understanding, found herself in a constant state of turmoil. The man she had committed her life to, who had stood by her side through thick and thin, now seemed like a stranger, his actions casting a long shadow of doubt over their shared memories. In her quest for clarity, Sarah revisited the past months in her mind, each memory scrutinized under the harsh light of suspicion. The occasional late nights Michael spent, working, the weekends away, for relaxation, the guarded nature with his phone. All these instances, once innocuous, now took on a sinister hue. Her discovery of the call log on Michael's phone was accidental, yet it felt like fate intervening. There, listed unassumingly among various calls, was an entry that caught her eye, a number repeated several times over the past months. The same number linked to the explicit messages. Confronting Michael with this new evidence brought forth a familiar pattern: denial and defensiveness. He claimed ignorance, unable to recall the calls or the person on the other end. His explanations, fraught with holes and inconsistencies, did little to quell Sarah's growing apprehension. As the days grew shorter and the nights longer, Sarah found herself enveloped in a relentless quest for the truth. The once comforting silence of their home now resonated with the echoes of unsaid words and unasked questions. Each conversation with Michael, each shared moment, was tainted with the underlying current of her quest. Sarah's pursuit of truth led her to delve deeper into the unknown. She examined phone records, pieced together timelines, and even considered reaching out to the mysterious number. Each step took her further away from the woman she once was, trusting, content, secure in her marriage. Yet, with each discovery, the facade of their perfect life crumbled a little more. Sarah realized that the life they had built, the years of shared experiences, were now under the shadow of Michael's actions. The trust that had been the bedrock of their relationship was eroding, leaving behind a void filled with doubt and pain. As autumn gave way to winter, the coldness outside mirrored the growing distance between Sarah and Michael. Their conversations became more perfunctory, their interactions a dance of avoidance. The warmth and love that once defined their relationship were replaced by a cold politeness, a mere semblance of the connection they once shared. For Sarah, the longer nights were spent in contemplation, the darkness outside mirroring the turmoil within. The man she lay beside each night was an enigma, his true self hidden behind a veil of secrecy. The revelation of his duplicity was not just a betrayal of their vows but a shattering of the image she had of her partner. As the year drew to a close, Sarah stood at a crossroads. The path forward was unclear, mired in the complexities of love, betrayal, and the quest for truth. The decision to seek answers, to confront the reality of their situation, was fraught with the risk of further heartache. Yet, the alternative, living in the shadow of lies and half-truths, was a prospect equally daunting. In the quiet of their home, amidst the relics of a life once filled with joy and certainty, Sarah knew that the journey ahead would be one of the hardest she had ever undertaken. The unraveling of lies had laid bare the fragility of their relationship, and the road to healing, if it existed, was a path shrouded in uncertainty. But for Sarah, the pursuit of truth was not just about their marriage. It was about reclaiming her own sense of self, lost in the labyrinth of deceit that had enveloped their life together. As the new year dawned, bringing with it a blanket of snow that covered the city in a serene white, Sarah found herself at a profound crossroads in her life. The revelations of the past months had stripped away the veneer from her marriage to Michael, leaving behind a raw and painful reality. The once vibrant home they shared now felt like a mausoleum of their former happiness, each room echoing with the ghosts of their past. The conversations between Sarah and Michael had dwindled to the bare necessities, a far cry from the warm and loving exchanges they once shared. In the quiet solitude of their home, Sarah grappled with the weight of her decisions. The truth she had so desperately sought had been more painful than she had imagined. The realization that the man she had loved and trusted was capable of such deceit had shaken her to her core. Yet, amid the turmoil, a resilient part of Sarah began to emerge. The initial shock and pain gave way to a newfound strength, a clarity of purpose. She recognized that while she couldn't change the past, she had the power to shape her future. Her decision was not an easy one. It came from long nights of soul-searching and reflection. To stay with Michael meant rebuilding their relationship from the ground up, forging a new understanding based on transparency and honesty. To leave meant stepping into the unknown, embracing the daunting prospect of starting anew. As she pondered her choices, Sarah realized that forgiveness was not just about Michael's actions but also about freeing herself from the chains of betrayal and hurt. Whether their marriage could withstand this storm was uncertain, but what was clear was that Sarah's journey towards healing had begun. In the end, Sarah chose a path that promised a chance at rediscovery, both of herself and of the life she wanted to lead. It was a path filled with uncertainty, but also with the potential for growth and happiness. As the story of Sarah and Michael draws to a close, their future remains unwritten, a canvas upon which the next chapter of their lives will be painted. For Sarah, the journey ahead is one of self-discovery, of learning to trust again, and of finding peace amidst the chaos that had engulfed her life. And so, we turn the final page of this chapter, but the story does not end here. Like life, it continues, ever evolving, ever unfolding. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Sarah and Michael's story. It's a tale that reminds us of the complexities of love, trust, and the resilience of the human spirit. If this story resonated with you, or if you've ever faced crossroads in your relationships, share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this. Your support means the world, and it helps us bring more engaging and thought-provoking content to you. Until next time, keep turning the pages of your own story, and remember, in the midst of chaos, there is always a path towards healing and understanding. Stay tuned for more.